Want to bring in Ryan Foster now, CEO of Jamaican Olympic Basketball. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, Ryan. Thanks, man. Yeah, you bet.
So begin by telling us why we should be interested in Jamaican basketball.
A couple of reasons why. I think one of our most noted basketball players, albeit he didn't represent Jamaica, Patrick Ewing. I think back from those days when Patrick Ewing was representing the Knicks and now a coach, I believe at Georgetown. Jamaicans gravitated towards basketball, and we have always loved the sport. I think next to track and field, football, and cricket, basketball is a staple in our school systems now, and is one of the most rival. Just like when you have a UNC or a Duke or any one of those colleges, a Michigan State versus a Michigan, we have that type of system in the high school setup where high schools go against each other. In basketball, we're always looking for the next Patrick Ewing to represent.
I'm sure you are.
To represent Jamaica. And I believe the synergy with Jamaica Basketball Association is really live. One of the things that we're trying to do as an Olympic movement in Jamaica is that we want to move away from what we call traditional. You know, you just named some very good runners, and prior to those runners, you had Donald Quarry, you had Herb McKinley, you had all of those persons winning multiple medals in track and field. But the GOA, along with its member associations, have launched what is called a 10 in 20 campaign. And we want to ensure that we get 10 other disciplines, sporting disciplines, in the next Olympic Games in 2024. And we have gone about it in such a way that we have now ranked in the top 20 in the world, a judo athlete, a karate athlete, a taekwondo athlete. And I'm also the president of skateboarding. We have skateboarders that are ranked in the top 50 in the world. So we want to help and to assist other sport, because sport is not just seen as a physical activity in Jamaica. Gone are the days when that is just the case. What we find out, it's a business and it's a livelihood for many of these athletes who participate in these sports. Basketball being no different. So we saw the synergy with basketball, and we want to ensure, other than just this drive, to work along with the GOA and the IOC to ensure that we put programs in place to ensure that our basketballers get the best possible opportunity to represent.
Ryan, how many high schools do you have playing basketball in your country?
I think between rural and urban, over 50 schools represented. So they're divided in an urban area, and then they're divided in rural, and then you have an all-island championship where the best rural takes on the best urban. So it's quite a bit. You're talking about thousands of kids participating in the sport. Just like with netball. Netball is a very big sport in the island. We're ranked 4th in the world in netball. So it's a great time now for Jamaica, because when we participated at the last Olympic Games, or even the London Games in 2012, we had an equestrian athlete there. We had a karate. We had a taekwondo athlete there. We had a swimmer. So we don't see why basketball shouldn't be there. We are naturally athletic, and we have the necessary physical skills to ensure that, it's just not to put the technical aspects of it, the coaching, the infrastructure, to ensure that Basketball Association is supported in their drive to qualify for 2024.
Well, I'm a volunteer high school basketball coach, Ryan. So if you want, I can come down and help you with some of that. I got plenty. I'm retired. I got plenty of time.
Yes, definitely, and that's where we're going. We can take. We need as much help as possible. We actually launched last year an elite coaching program for 10 sports. So we have new sports that have taken off in the country, such as handball. We have there's another new sport that is called e-sport, which is very big now in the country. So we can physically participate in sports, and now we do it electronically.
Obviously, I have a question written down. What do you need to be consistently competitive in basketball? Well, duh, money, right? I mean, you need money. But tell us what that money will do. If people start donating to Jamaican Basketball Project, what will they be looking to follow their money to see what it can do for you guys?
So the traveling and the transportation of these teams are going to be very important to ensure that we get the necessary practices in place to ensure that our athletes are on par and participating with other countries that are at the level that we need to be at and thing there. The third aspect of it is the recruitment. You know, we need to continuously have what is called national drafts to ensure that we recruit the best possible persons across the island and persons within the diaspora as well, that are now participating either at the NCAA level or they're participating at the NBA level or below the NBA level or they're in the CBA, etc. So and finally, they will need the resources in terms of equipment, the gym, the apparels, the wares, the footwear. All of those things are important to ensure that you have a successful program. And finally, the nutrition. You could be the best athlete, but without the proper nutrition and having a nutritionist on board and the resources to buy those foods and supplements, etc., are critical to sustain a successful basketball program.
Well, that's a great plan. Hey, I want to backtrack for a second. Patrick Ewing, coach at Georgetown, has a native, born and raised in Jamaica. Has he come back? Has he come down and helped you guys out at any point in time, or do you anticipate him coming down as we move forward?
Well, the anticipation, I think that would be best directed at the association. I'm not sure what the plans are in terms of who they're recruiting, but I'm not certain either if he has come back. But I know he's loved in the country, and I know just from discussions that he's someone that would definitely want to give back to Jamaica. But I'm not certain what are the plans with the federation and itself.
I think people think of Jamaica basketball. Well, let's put it this way: people don't think of Jamaica basketball. And if you look around the NCAA right now, there are a lot of guys who have made an impact from Jamaica, made an impact on the NCAA. The one, of course, that comes to mind right now is Nick Richards from Kentucky, who is going to be in the NBA draft. Guy that I love this year who played at Illinois, Kofi Coburn, big, strong, quick, tough baby of a player. I mean, he's just beginning to figure out the game and what he can do in the game. But I think he's going to be a force. Romero Gill, who 7'3" guy from Seton Hall, who was same kind of thing. He had no idea. He had trouble putting one foot in front of the other when we first saw him. Now he's Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East.
Yeah, I did a lot of his games the last few years, and watching his development the last 3 years has been unbelievable. I mean, he's a guy now. Before, when they'd set up offensively, he'd want to don't get in the way. But now they run stuff for him. They'll dump it down the post, and he can do some things.
And when he dunks, he can celebrate like nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He's fun to watch. But
And I think
my point is, you guys have some structure, the beginning of something really good. Do you believe you can keep these guys, get these guys in the program and be a part of 2024 and be a part of what Jamaican basketball can be on and on and on?
Definitely. And I think we started that aspect as well, with what is called Jamaica Football Federation. And we work very closely with the JFF in terms of helping them with their development programs. We sponsored their Olympic teams. Albeit they didn't make it to the Olympic Games, but for the first time, we actually took a strong enough team that was very competitive in the Olympic qualifiers. And of course, we helped them, assisted them tremendously with our female footballers as well, who qualified for the first time for the World Cup. So we believe in developing what is called a pool of talent. And the best way to keep that talent together, as I said, is to put the resources around them to ensure that they have the best coaches possible, the best infrastructure possible, the best nutrition possible, and of course, become a little bit more scientific in terms of how we administer and deliver sport. It's not just about the physical aspect. There's a scientific aspect to sport as well, in terms of the body, the movement, your weight, your size, your reach, all of those things. We are now becoming much more advanced and trying to become much more advanced in the scientific aspect of sport. And I believe Jamaica Basketball Association has really bought into the concept. Because the truth is, we have a lot of talent in the diaspora, what we call diaspora, in the Americas, Canada, the UK, etc. If you look at even the UK, the England team, it's quite a bit of those persons have Jamaican parentage. Raheem Sterling came from Jamaica. Daniel Sturridge came from Jamaica. Theo Walcott have Jamaican background. So there are quite a bit of them if we reach out to the diaspora. But one of the things that we're trying to do with the Basketball Association is to bridge that gap and to sell a product to these persons that are in a professional setting, whether it be in the NCAA or the NBA, to ensure that they see a professional body and infrastructure of persons that are prepared to go the mile, put the resources in place to ensure that they can qualify for the Olympic Games or to move on to the NBA.
What's been the response from the guys in the diaspora?
As always, it has been good. I think the main thing is everybody wants to represent their country. I've never known a Jamaican who does not love Jamaica. And the truth is what they want is to ensure that we have the necessary resources in place and we have the competencies at the technical level to ensure that these resources and these talents matriculate into what we want to achieve. So the response is great.
Two important questions. What's the weather like here today?
Well,
because it's raining and it's about 40 degrees out here.
Outside.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's raining and breezy. I think
no.
depression is passing to the west of us, but I don't mind because we're going into a time where we're going to get drought. So let's take the weather now. when drought was there up to June of this year.
Second question: how's the bobsled team doing?
Excellent. Of course, for the first time in 2018, we qualified our female team to the Winter Olympic Games, and now we're looking to qualify both a male and a female team simultaneously for the staging of the Beijing 2022. So we, as the movie would say, we're cool runnings.
Right. That movie probably did more for Jamaican Olympic. Yes. The Jamaican Olympic Association than anything we could ever do.
Yes, and I think that's where I'm going as well. The sport, though not traditional in the country, many Jamaicans associate and can relate to what took place in the bobsled movement, and that is what we're trying to create in basketball. That's what we're trying to create in judo and taekwondo and a skateboarder. We have skateboarders that have come from nowhere, the slums and the ghettos of this country, that are ranked in the top 100 in the world without a skate park. So we want to give persons, the average man in the country that has talent, to create a livelihood for them within whichever federation or whatever sport that we have in this country. And people are buying into the concept of what we're trying to sell, that listen, it's not just about track and field. Track and field is our staple, and it is what has made us famous. But the truth is, as I said, there are many bobsleighers that are more famous, and the movement that are more famous than a track and field athlete. But likewise, we want to ensure that a basketballer or a taekwondo or a rugby person, rugby is another sport, as I said, which is very big now. For the first time, we have reached the final stages to be qualifying for the Olympic Games. So the next, what they call Rep the Charge, takes place in June next year, where our guys are going up to try to qualify for the first time for the Olympic Games, and it's the furthest that they've reached in the history. So rugby is happening, netball is happening, basketball is happening. Times are good for Jamaica now in sport.
Well, that's wonderful.
Well, Ryan, I've watched Coach Turner watched his teams for years, and he likes to run. So we could have a cool runnings too. That's just something to think about.
That's what I'm saying. The scientific aspect of it. We run very well.
That's right.
In the World Championship, we actually won more medals, I think, or just the equivalent amount of medals in the field events compared to even the track, because we won a gold medal in the long jump for men. I think the fourth or the fifth longest jump in the history. We won a silver for women in shot put. We won a silver in discus. So there are persons there that have the necessary physical attributes that I believe we jump well, we run well, and those are things that are required in basketball. You know, the athleticism to move, to dribble, to pass, to be fit. We have those things. It's just know how to apply the technical know-how from our coaching staff, and as well as the scientific know-how in terms of the to get the best out of the body with what are the physical attributes that we have.
So you're saying it can happen?
Yes,
2024
I'm saying
can
it can
happen.
happen, and I'm saying it will happen.
All right. Well, I'd like to hear that.
I like the optimism. Hey, the coaches that you do have at this point, can you tell us where they get some of their training, or where they interned, or where they had jobs over here in the States?
I think that's best answered by the basketball president.
Okay.
But I know a lot of we have what is called GC Foster, which is a technical school for coaches, etc. We started a coaching program with them as well, where they had engaged international coaches to come down, have sessions, seminars, coaching clinics with their athletes, with their coaches, etc. So I know they have that program going on and ongoing at the collegiate level in terms of the university, as well as recruiting persons from overseas at the international level to come and have coaching clinics with their coaches.
Well, Ryan Foster, we really appreciate your time. Obviously, Dave and I are rooting for you, and
Yes.
that's what we're here for, to line your coffers a little bit.
Hey, all the best.
Thank you.